Though, with the way that stuff works. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. I was afraid that it was gonna crash or that the servers were gonna crash and it was gonna do something like that. Because it likes to do that. One second. And yep, I figured that was probably gonna happen. Just because I'll know how multiplayer works, and that usually if my game crashes, the stream crashes as well. Would not be surprised. If it crashes again, we'll go into single player. Oh no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Why does this guy have tents set up? Please, no. Alright, I guess we'll just go hunt some stuff in feed times. Just go run around. Because why not? Go see what we can find in feed zones. This guy looks like he hunts his map pretty well though. It's usually I would just leave and try to find a new server. Let's see, where does he hunt down this way? Yes. Alright, that's too many zones. There's not gonna be anything on here that this guy does not know about. The reason I'm doing Silver Ridge Peaks though is because that's probably the best chance of me finding something good in this short of time would be on this map. We'll probably end the stream around 2:30, so we don't have too much longer. Let's see. How about for the last little bit, we'll hop on Teora. If we can find a good server. Which I mean, the only good times from like 8:30 to 12. So, we'll see. We'll try this one server. If it doesn't work, is there any map anyone wants to see? If not, I'll probably go to Layton. And then I'll probably have to start recording for tomorrow's video, because I do not have a single video ready. And that's why I'm live streaming today. Because I do not have anything ready for tomorrow. 14:49. So, I wish it was 8:30, because that guy has not hunted his own. Oh, it's two people hunting together too. I think I'm probably gonna be kicked. Yep. That's what happens a lot. The people aren't moving, you exit and it says you were kicked. So it's terrible when you've spent 10 minutes or so on a map and you haven't seen anything, and then you leave and then it's like you've been kicked. So basically you wasted 10 minutes. And I mean, it's only 10 minutes, but like I said, the whole efficiency thing. That's what I try to focus on. Redneck Finesse. I like that name. Kick My Bass 21. It's a good one too. There's some names on here that crack me up. Alright, there's some that I see that are just... And some of the people with the funniest names are the best servers. I joined this one person server. I think there's a video of this. I think. So, anyway, it's on Verhunga. And I go down. And it's the outpost in the top right with the lake. I go down. And there's... Oh, we actually have a good time. Probably gonna hunt some meese. Let's go right here and we'll go hunt some meese. But, I go to the top right outpost. This is like... That's where I spawned in. And I looked, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, it's Gimsbuck drink time. So I'm gonna go walk in here to this lake, see what I see. Level 4 female Gimsbuck, shoot at diamond. I claim the Gimsbuck, cut the video, and look up the next animal spot's a level 5 kudu. I think I maybe took 2 in-game steps. and there's a level 5 kudu. So I'm like, I'll turn back on film and shoot it, and it was it was something seeing that. I really hope this kid does not kick me. If he does, I'm not gonna be happy, because a moose is something that I really want. Let's see. Neither one of them are moving. If we get down here and don't... Oh, no, we're good. We're seeing some ducks. I want some more diamond mallards, but... That's all I used to hunt was ducks. Way back when I had no idea what I was doing. That's all I hunted. My first diamond was a cinnamon teal 966 on the old system. For all of our troopers out there. What is... All I have is a 22 on me. Which, I mean, isn't necessarily terrible. So if I did have to shoot anything, it'd be with that. Wow. That one's impressive. One good thing about only duck hunting is I used to be able to smoke ducks out of the air with the 22. And I also have all the diamond mallards and rares that I would ever need for a multi-mount. So I guess that's always a plus too. Only thing I do miss on the new system, I miss being able to brain shot animals. I mean, like, yes, it's way more logical that it's a limitation that you can't shoot them in the brain. 100%. I totally agree with you know, you can't shoot an animal in the head because you'll mess up its antlers and stuff. I get that 100%. But, like, I miss when... Because one of the main shots I would go for is when moose were drinking, shoot them right in the head. Same thing with, like... That's how I used to hunt plains bison and Cape buffalo and everything. I'd alert them, they'd stick their head up, and bam. I mean, it's still... Even on a cow moose, I'll still do it a lot. Just shoot them in the head for the fun of it. We'll try doing it to this guy. It's gonna be weird with this angle. Let me make sure. And you had to make sure your range was on point. 195, I should be good. Or we'll shoot a little high. I think we may have got that lung shot right there on the second shot though, so we're not gonna lose him. But I mean, I remember just trying to get lined up with a moose where he was facing you head on, and he'd put his head down, and you'd shoot him right there in the brain. And I mean, you can still heart shot him, which is always fun, but there's just something, I guess, satisfying about just shooting them and watching them drop. I mean, still, you can do it with the heart shot, but I don't know, it's just more fun to shoot animals in the head. It's like, you never do it in real life, at least on purpose, but it's fun doing it in the game. Like, even when I'm shooting my bow in real life at a deer target or something, I'll shoot it in the head just for fun. Because, I mean, it's funny. It's just something you don't see every day. Speaking of that, I'll go ahead and tell the story. I was, so I'm hunting, and my rule is if a doe blows at me, if there's not a big buck that's in there consistently, I'm shooting her. I mean, like, it just makes me mad when a doe blows at me and ruins my hunt. It's just something I can't stand, and it makes me want to kill the doe. So my rule is, you blow, you go. I mean, you're going to be dead if you blow at me. So I'm hunting at this spot, and there's no really big bucks in there. There's nothing special. I'm just kind of hunting, maybe seeing if anything will walk up on me. And pretty much this doe comes out, and she sees me in the stand, blows at me. And if you blow at me one time, like, I'm gonna be mad. You're still gonna get shot, but I won't be out for blood or vengeance. Like, if you mess up and walk back out, I'm gonna shoot you. So anyway, but she goes out of sight and just blows. Keeps blowing, There we go, finally. I mean, she keeps blowing. What in the world? That's weird. But she keeps blowing at me, and finally, she leaves. And I don't even think I saw another deer for the rest of the hunt. Anyway, I was not happy. She made me mad. And anyway, next time I'm out there, and here she comes. In this spot, I monitor the deer very often. I see these deer all the time. So I knew that was her. And I mean, she gets 20 yards, I draw back. And I had a very beginner bow. This was this past deer season. I just got a brand new bow. I got the Matthews V3. Love it. But this bow that I had then was probably 8 years old, something like that. I mean, it's super loud, beginner bow, youth bow. And I mean, super loud. It doesn't shoot the arrows fast. I mean, it's just all around a beginner's bow. And so, we're sitting there. She comes out. I'm watching her. Had it on GoPro and everything. So I'm filming her. Like, here we go. And does need to be shot at this place anyway. So she comes in 20 yards. She's feeding and turns her head away from me while she's feeding. I pull back on her. I'm lined up on her. And that's actually not a bad moose. I draw back and I shoot. And this bow is such a beginner bow. It's so loud. If anybody has like a pellet rifle, like the pack when you shoot a pellet rifle, that's what this bow sounds like going off. It's not good. And like probably something I should have gotten looked at. But I shoot and just pack. It's all here, and the doe ducks me and turns away from me. And something just, I don't know how it happened, but I was lined up for the vitals perfectly, but she ducked and turns her head, and that thing hit her right in the back of the head. The arrow hit her dead in the head and dropped her. It made me cringe up in the bow stand, because, I mean, number one, nobody ever wants to make a bad shot like that. I mean, the shot wasn't bad, would have been perfect if she didn't move. But, you know, you're still just you question your equipment and stuff when it makes such a loud noise. And the past 3 out of the 4 deer that I've shot at with that bow have ducked me. And I've either just held it low enough and then ended up getting them high because they ducked, or just something like that, or missed them or whatever. And, I mean, I hit that doe right in the back of the head, and you could hear the crack. And like when you go back and watch the GoPro video, you can hear the crack. I mean, it worked. She never felt anything. I mean, it was lights out, but not what you wanted to do. And I mean, when I got my broadhead back and everything. I mean, with that bow, I was probably shooting 60 pounds. With my one now, I'm shooting like 67, 70, somewhere in there. But, yeah, I mean, when you pull back and you smoke her, or not really smoke her, I mean, she was toast. She didn't take a step. But, I mean, like, when I went to pull the arrow out of her, you could feel the broadhead rattling in the skull. Like, it had her. It was funny when it was successful. Now, if I would have wounded the deer, I'd have felt terrible. And, I mean, I would have spent hours out there trying to find that deer at night to put her down. I mean, that's one thing that gets to me bad when I mess up on a deer or something like that. It's the last thing I want to do. But it was a funny story going home. And when I came home, I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I said, I got one. He said, did you? He's like, did you make a good shot? I said, no. And he goes, well, how did you know that you got her? And I said, well, she didn't run any. She's dead in the field. And my dad was like, okay. So I told him what happened, we walked up there, and when we got there and looked, and that arrow sticking dead out of the back of her head, we both died laughing on spot. It was something. It was something, for sure. It was a fun time, though. But this past year was my first deer I killed with my bow. I killed 4 deer this past season, because where I am, we don't have tags or anything. There's no doe days. You can shoot 2 does a day, or you can shoot 1 doe and 1 buck a day. And there's like, you can only shoot 3 bucks a year or something. There's some weird limitations, or not really weird, but pretty much you can shoot as many does if you want to. If you wanted to go and shoot 20 does, you could. So I mean like 20 does in a season, you could. But so I killed 4 deer this season. 1 was a cull buck, and 3 of them were does. All 3 of my does I killed with my bow, and then this 1 buck, shot with a rifle. I shot with my 270, and he got put down pretty fast. We had my third doe I shot ran the farthest. My first one I shot, her heart was split in two, so she went. I saw her crash, which was pretty cool for my first deer to kill with a bow. To smoke her at 10 yards, I mean, she was right there, and to watch her run and crash, it was pretty special. And then I had the one in the head, and then this one, it was right at dark. I wasn't gonna shoot a doe in this spot because I thought we had them pretty well balanced. This is the same spot as the one that I shot in the head. Until it's like I was like, all right, I've already taken a doe from this spot this year. I'm gonna kind of let it rest on the does. And I'm sitting there, and I saw 40 deer that hunt. Or well, that's probably a little. I think I saw 26. That's how many I saw, and two of them were bucks, a spike and a 3-point. And I mean, obviously I don't want to shoot either one of those. So spike and a 3-point, and then I saw 26 deer. So I wasn't gonna shoot a doe until I see that many does and two small bucks, and the rut was starting to heat up. So I'm like, well, a doe comes out, and I'm like, all right. She gets in there. It's probably 20, 25 yards right at dark. Pull back, smoke her. Wasn't looking too good. It wasn't super, like, we weren't seeing a lot of blood. Weren't seeing much. And then finally, once we found a little blood, we got on her. It still wasn't looking good. And we'd probably track her for 40 yards. And then we found her arrow. And once the arrow came out, blood started pouring. So the blood's pouring. It took us another 30 yards when we found her. So it was a good shot. I think it was kind of maybe back of one lung and liver for the most part, but she didn't go far. I mean, it was 50, 60 yards maybe. And I mean, for a bow, not bad. And the buck, let's say the buck story. Since, let's see, I haven't really gone into super much depth on my first deer. Our first deer with a bow. We'll go to that one last after we go to the buck. So the buck are sitting there. It was just me. The spot did not have a stand, but there were two like bad, messed up genetic bucks. And I mean, really, you can't really affect the gene pool too much. Like, culling is good not for genetic pool. It's more like for giving food. It's long story, but on the genetics and stuff. But on this buck, there's two bucks like for sure need to go. One of them has a nice 4 on one side, or both of them have one side that's a 4, and then the other side only has 2 points. And this one we called the cow buck. I'm trying to think, what are they called? This buck almost looked like a Sika deer on one side, but just with like a brow tine and then the main beam just going straight up. Looked like a cow. And so we called him the cow buck. I think we called him Cowhorn. And pretty much what I did was I'm laying on the other side of like a little bank, like a little hill, something like that. And where we are too, it's allowed. You can bait if you pay like a fee or something. You can do it. And so we have our baiting license. And I'm laying down the bank with my 270. Have the 270 set up on the bank. And I knew it was getting close to the time they come out. But I'm patient up to a certain point. When I know it's about time for the deer to come out, I'm ready to see them now. So what I did, I was like, look, I'm going to duck behind this little thing. I'm going to sit here for 5 minutes, and I'm going to look up and see if anything's here. So 5 minutes go by, and I look up, and there's Cowhorn sitting under the feeder with another younger 8-point. And I set my rifle up on him. He's there, I mean, maybe 60 yards or something like that. Because we don't have really any big spots, like super far shots on our deer land. And he's sitting there, I mean, he was looking at me. He could see me because the sun was right in my eyes. So I'm thinking it was glaring off the scope. And he could see it because he was looking at me. And he wasn't very comfortable. You could just tell. Anyway, finally he turned broadside. It was in a little bit of brush, but I knew I could shoot through it. And I shot through it, dropped him. Worked out great. Got rid of him. And he ended up being... I've never killed a big deer. I've had chances, but just nothing really happened. And so he ended up being my biggest scoring deer. I mean, it was like 80 something. So I mean, I've never killed a big deer, never killed a decent deer, to be honest. So I mean, I've had chances to kill probably 100 plus deer. They've been too young and I've let them walk. I mean, I had one that was probably 110 or so on me this year, but he was too young. Oh, I did have one buck that was like 130. Yeah. I'll tell that story in a second. But so anyway, shot the buck. We went and got him. Didn't have to track him, so it was fun to get that buck off the land. We were all happy about it, and it been pretty cool. He had a lot of mass on him. He was an old deer, but unfortunately, just didn't have the points and stuff. Mass was there, but points and width and height were not. And then we'll go to let's go to we'll go to my first deer with the bow. And it's just turning into story time, but I'm sure it's kind of entertaining. If anybody wants me to shut up, just let me know. But pretty much, I'm sitting there. We go out, and this property, we never bow hunt because our family members own it. This isn't really mine and my dad's land, who's where I've killed the other deer. We're there, and pretty much it's only rifle. Nobody there bow hunts. Only rifle. And I was like, if I go help set up some stuff, I'm gonna go scout and just see what I can see. But it was bow season. I was like, can I take my bow with me? And I'm hunting on a huge pasture, probably 7 acres. I mean, it was big. I don't really know exactly. I mean, it was really big. It was probably, I don't really know acreage very well, so I can't really put a guess in there. I'd say probably it was 2 football fields long, at least. And I mean, it's basically in a huge L shape. It's probably from one part of the L to the other, probably 4 or 5 football fields, and the other one 2 or 3. And so, a pretty big field. And we pull up. They have like a little wooden platform that we put a ground blind on. We put the ground blind on 2 hours before I'm planning on hunting. And we literally parked the truck 10 yards from the ground blind, or from where we put the ground blind. We put the ground blind on there, and I'm like, this is gonna be how I'm gonna kill my first deer with a bow. I was just thinking that all day. I was like, I'm gonna go set up a ground blind 2 hours before I go hunt. After I've been hunting for so long, multiple years trying to get one, and I'm just gonna go over here and just do this. So I throw out a little bag of feed, literally up under the truck. We had to move the truck to throw the feed out. So we move the truck, throw the feed out. I go home. I was wearing, because I'm in a ground blind, I'm wearing blue jeans and a black shirt, and like nothing on my face or anything. I shoot a round or two while sitting down, because I've never shot sitting down before. And I get in the blind, and I had to go ahead on a doe, because it was early season. They wanted some meat, just to kind of guarantee that they got some. I had perfect opportunity to shoot a doe. And so anyway, these 3 walk out. I probably saw 20 deer, but none of them really came close. And I had 3 walk out, and I'm watching them from the left, and the feed we're using, it's big time. That stuff is amazing. The scent on it, like the deer come swarming to it. The scent's so good, at least from what we've seen. But so we get up there, or I get up there. I'm by myself. I see the 3 deer come out. There's a big doe, it's probably 4 or 5 years old. She's huge. A younger doe, probably 2, 3, and there's a baby. And my one thing is, I don't care how old the baby is, even if it's a yearling with the mom, I don't like to shoot the mom. That's one of my, I just don't do that. And I just can't bring myself to do it. So anyway, they come up here, and there's the big doe, we'll say 2-year-old doe, and then the baby. And the baby was with the 2-year-old doe the whole time. And so I was about to shoot the 4-year-old, or the older doe. So so close. I'd been watching the deer for 30 minutes at 10 yards now. What is right here on me? What is that? So, anyway, I'm watching them this close, and I'm for real about to draw back on the older doe and shoot her, because I wanted the one that was bigger meat and stuff. I mean, if I was going to take one, even though, I mean, to be honest, the better choice to take would have been the younger doe, or was the younger doe, just because there's a bunch of does that size out there. But anyway, so I wish I would have thought about that, because I'm sitting there about to shoot the big doe. Man, the little baby walks off, because I was almost convinced that the younger doe was the baby's mom. And the baby walks off, and then the big doe goes and follows the baby off. So thankfully, I was like, okay, so the big doe was the mom. They leave the field, and the 2-year-old doe's still sitting there. And I'm like, okay, she's going down. So I'll draw back 10 yards, smoke her. So I did make the right choice. I shot the one that didn't have a baby. Was the better choice for management, because there's so many does out there that size. So pretty much all those are gone, or well, they need to be gone. But the big doe was killed, or the 2-year-old doe was killed, and I thought she was kind of smaller. And we get up to her, and she's probably 90 pounds. So, I mean, a big doe, or not a bad doe. I mean, she's pretty good size. And I'm like, that one that I let walk must have been huge then. But it was a fun story. I shot her right there at dark. I saw the arrow go through her. I knew I smoked her. I saw, like, when you hit her, you could see blood coming out. So, I mean, I knew it was a good shot. And I kind of saw her run off in the woods. I saw her kind of start swaying side to side, and then heard the crash. Saw her go down. And, I mean, still, with it being my first deer, I was not going to get her. Even though I saw that deer go down, I waited 45 minutes before I walked over there. 30 yards from the blind. Never went over there. I went home, got completely undressed, did what I had to do. We ran up to the processor, made sure they were open. And then we get over there, and finally we get to her. We looked at the arrow and kind of looked for blood. And then I was like, look, I think I saw her go down. I went and checked, and she's right there. So it was fun getting my first deer. Got to call my dad, tell him about it. He was super excited. I was super excited. It was a fun time. And then the one about the 110, or no, this deer is probably 120s, 130s, something like that. Wasn't huge. But from where I am, pretty big deer. And he's only 3 years old, so I'm glad I didn't shoot him, because I definitely was going to. So I'm sitting there in the blind, and I have my bow. I've not killed a buck with my bow. I have not done it. So we're sitting there, or I'm sitting there by myself. I hunt by myself. When I say we're, I'm talking about just me. My dad's at another blind, and we bring another person with us that day. And we're all kind of sitting there texting in a group chat, kind of letting everybody know what we're seeing. My dad's seeing a doe or two, nothing special. And I did not have a deer out in front of me. I'd been in the stand for 15 minutes. And I look over, and there's a 10-point looking at me. And I'm like, oh, gosh. Or not really looking at me, just looking in my general direction. I thought it saw me. I was upset. And then he never acted like he saw me. And I was like, okay. I was like, we're good. And so he's sitting there. He starts scraping the ground. Kind of patrolling the area for sure. This is prime rut right now. So, for sure, controlling the area. He's not by far the dominant buck in the area, but just, I guess, around that day he was. And unfortunately, where this spot is, it's this neighboring, or it's literally right there on the fence line of the neighbor's property. We don't shoot past it just because we're not like that. We only go over there if we absolutely have to, after we get permission, if a deer's been shot, and we have to go get it. But anyway, so the buck's on the neighbor's property. I can see him. He's looking at my feeder. He's doing whatever he has to do. He's kind of shaking his antlers, walks into the woods. And I'm texting him, telling him, look, this 10 points right here. He walked off. I don't really know what to do. I hope he comes back, blah, 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 blah. So I wasn't waiting for 5 minutes, and here he comes back. Like, okay. He's coming back. I see him, and he's still on the neighbor's property, about in the same spot. And he's, just shaking his antlers in the trees. You can tell he's just patrolling the area for does. And whether he's just waiting for a new one or he just bred one, he's patrolling for does. And anyway, so he's sitting there. I see him shaking his head in the limbs, and he walks back off. And I'm like, all right, this guy's staying here. This buck's here. He's not going to be going anywhere. Hopefully he'll come in. So anyway, he comes out a third time. And, again, does the same thing. There's a little lane that I can see down. And he's kind of just walking back and forth between the lane. and that's not too bad, but he's going back and forth, and he finally goes and beds down, and I lose him. And he gets back up. Probably another. All these encounters are like 15 minutes in between. So like I'll see him, he'll be gone for 15 minutes. I see him again, he's gone for 15 minutes. See him again, he's gone. So on the third time, after I've seen him for the third time, he disappears for about 15 minutes again. And I mean, it's still broad daylight. And then the spike, or not a spike, a nubbin comes up. And this deer, the nublin's probably not, I mean, maybe mid to high on me. Super, super young deer, super small. I'm like, here we go. This is what I need. A small buck that maybe, you know, looks like, or not really a small buck, just a small deer that this bigger buck will come check out. And I was like, I'm getting ready because I know, I'm like, when this buck comes back out and looks up this lane and sees this little deer on the feeder, he's going to come check it out. And sure enough, the little nublin's in there feeding, and then here comes the 10. He steps out in the lane, looks and sees the deer, ducks his head, and he's coming. He's walking, he's not walking fast or trotting, he's slowly walking, feeding along his way. So I'm like, alright, he's comfortable here, he's feeding, he's going to come up to the feeder, feed a little bit, I'm going to have time, I'm going to take a shot, I'm going to smoke him. He gets up there, he walks in, he kind of goes up under the fence. I mean, I'm sitting there, I was shaking at first when I first saw the deer, but then after that, I wasn't really shaking because I was able to calm down after I've seen him for a little while, and I'm ready to go. I mean, I'm in the mode. I'm standing up, I had the GoPro on, I mean, I'm rocking and rolling. And he comes in, he's 20 yards from me. I'm all the way in, he's feeding all the way. So I'm like, he's comfortable, we're set up. He gets 20 yards from me. When I say that I was going to give him 2 more steps before I blasted him, or not blasted him, but, you know, shot him with the arrow. When I say 2 more steps, I mean, like, literally 2 more steps, and I was going to draw and shoot him. He takes the 1 more step. I'm like, alright, take this, because his leg that was towards me was still covering everything. It's like, take that 1 step with it, extend it out, and leave those vitals open for me. And right before he does that, I'm guessing, just heard a gunshot on the game. Oh, there's people right here. Alright, let's see. Let's go. I'll just take a right. And then when I get there, I'm about ready to shoot, and he turns and takes off. I didn't spook him. He never knew I was there. He turned his head around, looked at where he came from. I guess a doe or something walked out, and he was on her, and just took off, and wasn't really happy. Wasn't happy. But hey, I mean, it happens. I'm like the only person on our deerland that sees big bucks. I see 2 or 3 every year, and just can either never get a good shot off, can never make it happen. Just a bunch of stuff that kind of goes all into it, but it's fun. I see a bunch of deer. It's always fun, but this has turned into story time live than more multiplayer hopping live. But I'm not seeing anything else special, but whitetail drink time's starting, so I guess we'll just run down here and rerun all this and go shoot some whitetail. It's probably something fun we can do. Let's see, how long is this stream going for? This one's gone for 33. The last one went for about 30. So we've been in for an hour. I'll probably stream till around 3 or so. But, yeah, I'm already ready for deer season to come back. I'm ready for hunting season in general. I love dove season. I'm ready for squirrel season because I want to shoot a squirrel with my bow so bad. I tried. I didn't have the idea until like 2 or 3 weeks before season went out last year, so I didn't really have time to get it set up. By the time I had them consistently coming into this feed, I just, you know, didn't really have time. I had opportunities that I could have killed one, but it just missed or something like that. I mean, it's a small target. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm going to try to do that. It's just gray squirrels. That's all we have here, which is kind of unfortunate. Every now and then, rarely, you'll see a fox squirrel, but it's kind of a mutual agreement not to shoot them just because they're cool and we enjoy seeing them. Excuse me, sir. That's some whitetail. But yeah. So I'm going to shoot one with my bow. I'm probably going to get it mounted. I don't know if anybody's ever seen one, but it's like a mount where the squirrel's leaning up against a beer can and seems to be feeling right, if that's the best way to put it. That's how I want to get one mounted. They're fun little mounts. I mean, if you have to do a gray squirrel, have to do something interesting. I want to kind of go follow that doe. I'm gonna go walk down this way. At least if there's no drinks on or anything. Yeah, I'm gonna go walk down this way and see what I can run into. I may stay on this track and just see if it's anything special. But yeah, I'll think of some other stories to talk about hunting. Since that's kind of what we're talking about, is we're just rolling along and hunting on Call of the Wild. Let's see. I'm trying to just think of like funny stories or interesting stories. Because I mean, I could talk about boring stuff all day. Oh, this is a good one. So, this one. So we're looking at stuff because where we are, we don't have a lot of quail and stuff like that. We used to, but not anymore. So, ooh, that's a max weight black bear trap. So anyway, we're looking at this place up in the north part of our state that does pheasant, chukar, and quail. And we're like, okay, this will be pretty cool. And they're advertising it as like pro service dogs, like they're wild birds. That's what they're advertising as, like wild birds. You go, you find them, and you go up and spook them and shoot them, and like the dogs do everything for you. It's like, this is gonna be awesome. So we have me, my dad, my uncle, and the same friend that went hunting with us. That was also, let me think. That was also when I saw the 10-point. So we get there, and the guy, our guide, is like, all right, I think that there's gonna be some pheasant and stuff right over here. It's like, okay, like this is for real, like this is gonna be fun. We get there, and he's like, we're gonna think there's some pheasant stuff over here, some pheasant and chukars over here. Like, okay. And we get over there, and the dog's on the bird. He's like, all right, y'all, he could jump at any time. And so we're getting ready. Everybody's excited, everybody's shaking a little bit, ready for this bird to fly up. And anyway, the dog points on the bird, and we're ready. We're like, all right, here we go. I'm just thinking about all the times we've made fun of this story. So we're like, all right, we're getting ready. The guy reaches down, lifts up a crate, and kicks the bird, and the bird flies out, and we all shoot it. And we're all looking around kind of confused, because we thought these were going to be wild birds we thought it was going to be 100% for real. The quail were for real. They were like completely, not really wild, but they released them earlier that day, and they had the ability to run around and fly away and stuff if they really wanted to. Like the pheasant and the chukar were in a crate, and like he would get there and like pick them up, and I mean it was not fun. But like one of the dogs took the chukar out. The bird wouldn't fly, and the dog just picked it up. I mean, we were all confused. Like, what's going on here? And, we're just kind of looking around. We didn't know it was going to be like that. We're like, well, like if we're going to do it next time, we're just going to do the quail where it's for real, because none of us are really okay with this. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but none of us were really okay with shooting a bird out of a crate. Well, I mean, like it's only one of those things. It'd be a lot more funny if everybody could have been there. But I mean, like when we're sitting there all expected to do this for real, and you just see the guy pick up a crate, and I mean, it was not good. I guess we're gonna go walk back up here to this river stream and go to the north now. It was funny though. It was funny. Definitely, we all had a good time. So it was all a good time. One of my favorite huntings is duck hunting. Love duck hunting so much, because you never know whatever's gonna fly down and do your decoys. Like, could be a mallard, could be redhead, wood duck. That's what we have here. Like, we have a bunch of wood ducks. I mean, hooded mergansers. I love mergansers. And you just never know. So that's what I really like and enjoy doing. It's a fun time. And then I want to get into trapping a little bit and get some predators mounted. Because, I mean, while I'm younger, I don't have a lot of stuff I have to pay for and stuff like that. I'm saving up my money. And I'm basically getting all my animal mounts that I want out of the way. So, like, I have 2 wood ducks that were on a very special trip, very fun. Like, I just don't shoot stuff and mount them. They actually do have to have a reasoning for it. Like, that was a really fun trip. The limit here is 3 wood ducks. I killed 3 drakes. I got 2 of them mounted. I mean, it was just a fun time. And then my buddy, who also went with me on that hunt, he killed 2 drake wood ducks that he got mounted as well. So that was a fun hunt. Well, I have a turkey, my first longbeard, shot it with a shotgun. We had like 4 people all sitting in the woods, so it's a miracle that bird didn't see us, but it was fun. My uncle was there, my dad was there, I was there, and one of my uncle and my dad's friends came and called for us. So then I have a 6-point European mounted that I shot. That deer is just a fun story because I watched him for so long before he finally willingly gave up a shot. I was able to take him, dropped him in the field. It was a really fun time. And it was raining. My luck on rainy days, like just drizzly, wet, overcast, my luck is amazing. Like when it's raining and overcast, I always want to be in the woods. Because, I mean, just my luck is crazy. I mean, like, I think 5 or so of the past 6 deer I've shot have been in rainy and drizzly conditions. So, yep, that's kind of always reassuring when it's raining or something. So, anyway, I have the turkey, my first longbeard. I have 2 wood ducks. One of them I think was my first drake wood duck I ever killed. And one of them is they're both very beautiful, but one of them is a stud. I mean, just probably older bird. I don't really know their age, but I mean, older bird, bigger bird. Really cool to see. Then I have my 6-point, and then the other one I have is a mallard. It's my first mallard I ever killed, my first drake mallard. I killed like 3 or 4 hens before on the same trip, but we were on the last day, last afternoon. We were going home the next morning, and we go to the spot, and there's this one bird. He circles around once, like super far shot. Circles around again. I'm 10 years old, I think, at this time, and I had a 20 gauge, and I had extra full choke in for turkeys. Like I killed the turkey I mounted in that mallard. I killed with the same choke, same gun. So anyway, he circles around again. So he's circled twice now, and the guy whose land we're on, he looks at everybody. He's like, if he does that again at that distance, I want to try shooting him. And we're all like, yeah. I'm like, look, it's getting dark. Let's kill one more bird before I go home. And I wanted this whole time. I mean, if you asked anybody what I wanted, they would have told you a drake pintail or a drake mallard. Those were 2 I want. I still want a pintail very badly. But so anyway, the mallard comes back around. We jump up. We all squeeze the trigger on him. And finally, I shoot, and there he goes. He's going down. This guy, I mean, he wasn't dead. He sails for probably 300, 400 yards. And me being the little kid I was in the middle of the rice field, full sprints out of the blind because I knew I was the one who shot him. And I run all the way out there, and waist high deep water for me at the time, full sprint, pick up my duck, and I'm so happy. Like, they had to come get me on the four-wheeler because I was too tired to go walk back. And I was so happy. And I mean, I did not let anybody touch that bird until we got to the taxidermist. I was so happy. It was a fun time. Really, really good time. Killed him in Arkansas. Everything I've killed in the state that I live in. Well, the wood ducks, I think, either my state or Georgia. Not 100% sure. Because it was like right there on the line. So, don't know. I think it was on my side though. So let's see. Everything else I've killed in my state besides the duck, the mallard. So yeah. I want to get a full, or not a full body, a shoulder mount whitetail. So I want to get a big whitetail, which I mean that's just will probably come with age. Those will eventually show up around here because that's all I hunt for the most part. I had a dove that I wanted to get done, but they said it's best to freeze dry them, and I didn't have anybody to freeze dry it, so we ended up training the dog with it. It was a big one though. I want to get mergansers. I want to get maybe a pair mallard. I don't know if I would or not. I want to get a pair merganser mount. I want to get a pair wood duck mount. I want to get a bobcat, either a red or a gray fox. I don't really care which one. I want a black kite. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff I want that it's all just going to be a big work in progress to get to. But it's fun time. I enjoy it. It's worth the money at this age when, like I said, I don't have much to be worrying about, and I can get it all done. And everybody loves my room because I have all my animals in it and stuff. So it's fun time. Fun time. I think we've only killed like 3 animals this whole stream. It has not been a lot. I'm not seeing any whitetail here. I know some whitetail do drink here. I know they used to. I've not seen a whitetail drinking here in forever though. Go give it a shot. We'll probably check this one spot. If there's not much here, we'll probably wrap it up. I need to film for tomorrow's video, which is yay. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I have one video kind of half done, but like it's just a mountain lion grind video. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to see what I want to do. I kind of want to do a multiplayer hunt. Yeah, I'm gonna do a multiplayer hunt for Hunger for tomorrow. So we'll see if we get anything good. I have no idea. I wish we had something to kind of go in the trophy lodge for. That'd be fun. But we'll see what this last spot has in store for us, if there's anything here. I don't even think I have anything too special in my trophy lodge anyway that I could show off right now, so there's nothing crazy. What are those? Blacktail. That rock looked like something special. Like a piebald or something. Here, we'll go walk one river system. We'll go walk this river system, this little top part right here. I see a ton of whitetail here. So we'll go do that and then we'll call it. I don't even know what I want. I guess I'll probably go check deer cameras after I get done with this. I checked them yesterday, but the spot I am is super close to me, so it's not going to be a big deal for me to go check. I want to see. There's this one doe. Looks like a cow. She's huge. She's pregnant, too. So, I mean, just absolute giant doe. But I want to keep her around because she's a big doe and pretty good genetics. At least size-wise, but doesn't really mean too much. All depends on what the buck she breeds with is. There's, I think, out of 3 days, I've seen 3 or 4 does on camera, no bucks, which is not fun, but I really had no idea what was out here on this spot, so guess we'll find out. The bucks will eventually show up. The first year that we had this place, we put a camera out. There was a 9, a 10, and like 2 big 8s. And I mean, just we were like, oh yeah, this place is gonna be awesome once we get in here. We can plant and feed, and when we get in here, we plant and feed, and they just all disappear. We have not seen a good buck. Like these bucks would have been worth mounting for sure. The 10 and the 9, and then after that, we have not seen a good. Well, I mean, there's been a few here and there, but nothing special. Like nothing worth mounting, and. You know, I mean, that's not a huge deal. We hunt just as much for meat as we do trophy. But we do spend a lot of time trying to get big deer, body-wise, trophy-wise. we spend a lot of time for trophy management, but we also do it for meat, if that makes sense. Because our thing is, like, if we're going to shoot them for meat, they may as well have a big rack on them, if we can help it. So that's kind of our theory behind it. And yeah, so I'm trying to kind of get what I can do. And thankfully, everybody knows on our lands that we do, I'm the one who does the research on management. I'm the one who takes time to look into it, listen to stuff about it, read stuff about it. The one who kind of understands how it works. So thankfully, even though I'm the youngest one, everybody listens to me. And pretty much, if I say this deer needs to be shot, nobody questions me. They just go and do it, which is awesome. To be able to have that amount of power on my land. I want a diamond rabbit so bad. Like, it's crazy how bad I want a diamond rabbit. Cause I mean, like, then you get a diamond rabbit. Cause I have that I have the one multi-mount with the albino coyote and the 3 ducks. But I mean, it'd be cool to get like a diamond coyote and then an albino coyote and then put like a diamond rabbit in there. That'd just be awesome. Or like an albino rabbit. That'd be cool too. I think both my albino coyotes are on film, which was crazy. One of them I didn't even know. I thought it just looked weird. And I was like, it's probably just the light. And I was like, well, so I'm going to film it just in case. I get up to it. I was convinced that it was just a common and I was just seeing weird stuff. And get up to it, and sure enough, it was an albino. It was just a female, though. So, it wasn't like it was anything too crazy. I've had fun sitting here and telling my stories. It's been a good time. It's been a really good time. See, the thing is about a bunch of the stuff that I want to get mounted, like the bobcats and foxes, I don't really like to shoot them, bobcats or foxes, even though, I mean, they do kill deer and turkeys. Coyotes are the worst. That's what I have no problem putting a bullet through. But I mean, bobcat, especially foxes. A red fox, I don't, because they're not native here. Gray fox, I'd be a little bit more iffy about. Bobcats, people think that they're a lot more rare than what they really are. They're everywhere. They're just slick and you don't see them. I mean, bobcats, you cannot hear them when they come in. Like a deer, you can hear, I mean, I can hear a deer walking up 50 yards, 50, 60 yards away. I can hear a deer walking in. Bobcats, I've had one walk 10 yards of me. And I mean, had no idea it was there until I saw it. And I mean, it had a rifle with me, so I could shoot it. I want to shoot one bobcat to get mounted. And I mean, if I trap one, like, I'm not going to take the time to let it go. Like, I've let go raccoons, and that's sketchy. Like, the last thing I want to do is try to let go of a bobcat. Because, I mean, a raccoon, he turns on you, you can just kick him in the head. Or just kick him. I mean, like, if a raccoon squares up on you, I'm not too concerned with it. But if a bobcat squares up on me, I'll be a little bit more nervous. Just a little bit. I had I live on a creek like my house, and we have coyotes and stuff, so I've tried trapping them, just messing around with it a little bit. And I've never trapped a coyote, but I've trapped so many raccoons. And just because at our house, I don't really want to shoot them because there's no really reason for me to shoot a raccoon at our house. At our deer land, it'd be different because, they'll kill turkeys and stuff. I'd shoot them easily. But, here, I don't really like to shoot them. So when we trap them, and it just holds them. It's not like one of those that hurts their foot or anything. If something happens, and they're hurt, we'll put them down. But as long as we can let them go, we do. And my buddy who lives not too far from me, he's not much of an outdoorsman. I mean, he'll shoot guns with me and stuff, but he doesn't hunt or fish or do anything like that. He's been, but he just doesn't really do it a ton. And I trapped a raccoon one time, and I already texted him before. I was like, "Hey man, if I catch one, will you come help me let it go?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. I'll come help you out." And so he comes and he's holding it down, and I let it go. I was like, "All right, let go." And so we let go of the little noose neck hold thing. and that raccoon turns on us, and like it kind of squares up on us a little bit, and we're sitting there looking down on it. Both of us are bigger kids. I mean, I'm pretty tall, and he's the other kid. He's not tall, but I mean he's bigger. Um, so I guess the raccoon realized he didn't want it, and he kind of ran off. But it was funny watching him try to square up on us a little bit, and yeah, it's a fun time. All of it's are fun times, but fortunately we walked this whole way. I get a bunch of whitetail on my map right in here, right out here outside this outpost. So for real, this will be the last spot. We're gonna go give it a shot though. And see what happens. Alright, let's go see what we can do. Something's telling me to go hunt whitetail on this map, so this will be my last spot. Unfortunately, not super confident in it, but I guess we'll see. See if something will happen. Would go shoot my. I probably do need to shoot my bow a little bit today. What time is it? 2:48. Yeah, I'll have time to go shoot it. I'm also gonna keep looking at the camera around here, because even if I can't go shoot them, obviously, because it's out of season, I'll still just go sit up in the tree and just watch the deer if they're coming out in daylight. It's fun. The more time you can spend out there around deer, the more you learn, the better you get. I had so many deer this year walk where I could have dropped my arrow on them. Like if I would have just held my hand out with the arrow, I could have dropped the arrow on them. And it's so much fun getting them that close, especially when they're does or babies. I love to film them with my phone and stuff and just show friends videos and seeing them that close. And that's why I keep the GoPro with me. So if I do, have a doe in that I'm gonna shoot, or just something crazy happens, like ended up shooting one in the head or something like that, you have it on video, and you can kind of look back, and if you made a mistake, you can see what happened. You can watch how the deer responded to the noise of the bow, even if they responded at all. Just a bunch of stuff. So, a bunch of good times. Bunch of good times. Alright, let's see. Well, no, I didn't get kicked because I've been hearing the ducks. I'm surprised I'm not seeing as many whitetail as I usually see. Usually I see a decent amount. I don't know if maybe I'm just hunting the wrong spots for whitetail on this map or what. I'm trying to think, because I mean, I've walked that river system, walked a bunch of that one in there. I've not walked that river system. I'm gonna go right here. I know every spot I've checked, I'm claiming it's gonna be the last one, but I'm just thinking of more spots that need to be checked. Not worth the risk of possibly leaving something out here. Yeah, I mean, I'm making pretty good time. I'm covering stuff pretty quickly. But with it being 250, this probably will for sure be the last spot right here around this little area, because I need to go. I'll probably go shoot my bow, because usually my dad and I'll shoot together, but I think he's gonna be later getting home, so I'll probably shoot by myself. I'll go check the camera. Don't have any more feed to throw out, so that one bag of corn I've thrown up there is all I got. We'll see what's out there. Oops, let me get out of the tree. Hopefully there's at least whitetail here. We'll see. I really don't know which one I'd want, a diamond or a rare at this point. Probably, I don't really know. If I had to choose, it'd be a great one, but I wouldn't feel right going in and shooting a great one off somebody else's map. I'd like to grind it on my own. Obviously, it could take me 7,000 kills or something to get one, but I wouldn't just feel right shooting one off somebody's map. To be honest, if I did shoot one, or if I did find one on this kid's map, I would probably try adding him as a friend and trying to talk with him and telling him that it's here and letting him come shoot it. At least I say that I'd do that, but I mean, like, if one was right here, you know, I may just kind of blast him. You know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, because, I mean, I'm just saying, a whitetail huddle with 2 great ones in it would look pretty cool. It all depends on how I'm feeling. Right now, I'd probably shoot him. With it being on stream and everything, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'd probably shoot him. Yeah, to be honest, I'd probably shoot it. Because, I mean, like, yes, I didn't put the work in for it, but, like, I could just, you know, grind and just get another one if I did want to put the work into it. So, like I said, I don't know. Depends on how I was feeling that day. Hopefully, we'll see some whitetail. Alright. Let's see. Is there anything over here? This is where I've spent so long in single player before even the great one, just grinding for a diamond whitetail because that's what I hunt in real life and I really wanted one. And I joined multiplayer and like one of the first animals I see, this was like a 290 whitetail, just right here. I don't even know if the video is still up. I know I had it on film. I think I posted the video. I don't know if it's still up though. I may have gotten rid of it. I don't know. Not 100% sure. But I mean, that was 2 or 3 years ago. Yep. Or not 2 or 3, maybe 1 or 2, something like that. But, yep, came in here and got like a 290s whitetail. I have not got them since they changed the scoring system down to 250 something. I have not gotten one since then. Which, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate, but... Also, I have not really hunted them too much since their spawns seem to kind of be messed up still a little bit for me. I don't know if it's just because they take a long time to respawn or what, but they just haven't been too fun with me. So I'm hoping this new map will kind of have everything fixed and they'll make it fun. But I'm not seeing anything at this spot. Unfortunately, this guy's whitetail. I'm going to go check this spot. I see very few maps have whitetail drink. I think I've seen 3 maps, including my own, that have whitetail drink here. And I promise this will be the last spot. Promise. But I mean, like, I'm not seeing them on the river, so they got to be on the lake somewhere. So I mean, this will be the last spot. Promise. Last spot. Hopefully, you know, there's going to be that melanistic level 3 sitting there waiting on me. For sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. We shall see. I would like... One thing that'd be really cool would be like to have a huddle whitetail, have like an all diamond huddle, and then have like a piebald albino melanistic huddle. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Because my huddle right now I have 2 diamonds and a piebald. And I'd like to get a diamond to replace the piebald to have 3 diamonds. Or I could just get the great one, you know. Just that's definitely what I'm going to do. And get it there. And one thing I'm super excited about the great one grind is not just only the great one, but the rares and diamonds that I should get along the way. So that'll make it fun too. Help improve the trophy lodge a little bit. Like the see? Whitetail are here. surprisingly. We'll actually get to shoot one. Don't think I've killed a whitetail yet, even though we've hunted them for so long. We'll get to shoot one and end it off on a kill. It's not my melanistic level 3, but I think we kind of all knew that wasn't going to happen. See, I used to get them up in there, all around that rock. But, let's see, I guess that one's probably for sure the bigger one. I wish a rack like that could make diamond, because I mean, that looks pretty good. Or, it looked good. It didn't look as good when he stood up and looked towards me. Like, something like that looks actually pretty good. So let's go ahead and take him. And he's gone. So, looks like we're going to end off on one whitetail. Killed like maybe 1 or 2 moose and whitetail, and we spent like an hour on Layton. But hey, it's fun. It's all fun here. I remember when I was a low-level player, and again, I didn't really know what I was doing. I'll just be sitting there blasting those birds, waiting for ducks to come in or something. I mean, that's all I did was duck hunt. That's all I did. It was fun, though. So much fun. Sometimes I almost wish I could go back to a lower-level player. I'd never kill anything big. I'd never kill anything special. But just being so much fun when I didn't know what I was doing, just walking around forever. And when you finally see an animal, it didn't matter how big it was, like, oh my gosh, there's an animal. Boom! And you'd shoot it, you know, and you just feel so accomplished when you would drop it or something. But and now it's definitely not repetitive. I still love the game so much, but you know, it's not like you do everything right because you know how it's supposed to be done. But yep, this is probably gonna wrap it up for us though. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I gotta go work on some videos for tomorrow and so on. I'm gonna try to continue on the daily uploads, even though they're not getting a ton of attention. I'm still gonna work hard towards them, and hopefully one day we'll grow. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for tuning in and hanging out. And I'll see y'all next time.